find yourself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Muroff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. Is now Pike going to have a go at Werrell? Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn, so there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Standing out from the crowd is a challenge. You have the passion, courage, and ambition to do something extraordinary. You have an awesome story to tell and a wonderful vision to share with the world. At Eddie Videos, we take that vision and turn it into reality so you can be heard above the rest. You need something different, and we give you the ultimate advantage. We can help you transform your ideas, images, and clips into a professional video that brings your message to life and sets a new bar for excellence. Visuals, voiceovers, editing, animations, whatever you need, we've got it all. If you're a new business looking to make your mark or an experienced company searching for something new and amazing, we're here to help. Trust us to take your video to amazing levels of awesomeness.
Does he have it? Medeiros is going to get it. They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!
Hello everybody and welcome to the second round of the Radical Race Series for Season 3 of 2023. For the first time in just over a month, or the second time indeed, in just over a month, we head back to Spa again, a circuit that featured towards the end of last season, featuring towards the start of this one. Another 2 races coming your way here tonight. Sprint and feature format once again making its return. 7 laps and 11 laps over the course of this one before we get to the end of the second round of the Radical Race Series season. We kicked things off last week at Road America, where we saw a very, very interesting couple of races indeed, with lead changes and drama right to the very end, especially between John McCutcheon and Simon Edwards. After only one round, it does mean that we can give you some championship standings. They're not very useful at this stage, but we can show you what the results were from Road America effectively, with McCutcheon just doing enough to see off Edwards. Paul LeMay is still very much up there, and so is Mike Bousson. Damien G already 22 points back in 5th. David Rollston ended the day in 6th ahead of Michael LeMay. Jamie Bird, Darrell Taylor and Martina Ward ended the day inside the top 10. Ward indeed on the same points as Wayne Palmer and Seth Brown in a 3-way tie there. Robert Woodward only 1 point behind. Colin Wynne 14th, Phil Glover 15th ahead of Paul Godden, Phil Justin and David Beasley, the 18 drivers who took to the track at Road America 1 week ago. We've got 18 on the track at the moment, but still more than 5 minutes remaining in practice, and John McCutcheon not here yet either. Expecting him to arrive at some point, you'd imagine, towards the end of this practice session, as he normally does. My name is Ewan O'Leary. I'm alongside James Parfitt once again for this evening. Just over 5 minutes remaining in practice before we get into the qualifying session, where everyone will have 3 laps to set the best time they possibly can before the racing really begins. But nice and healthy field, and a circuit that will be fresh in the minds of these drivers as we return to it only 5 weeks after we raced it last.
What this circuit is about. He already knows what is happening and where he's going to brake, what the car's going to do, how everything is. And this is just an iconic circuit. You know, everybody loves it. Everybody thinks it's going to be amazing. And I think it's going to be amazing as well. One of the fears is, though, that wonderful draft running down Kemmel. Are we going to see a bit of a draft fest tonight, do you think? Or are we going to see it play into people's hands? Because the draft is so strong. It's going to be strong here. So hopefully we're going to see some epic racing. I'm just worried we're going to see backwards and forwards constant drafting going down the straights.
Well, we did see a little bit of that at Road America, actually, where we had a lot of drafting going on. But I think it's normal in the SR10, really. And we saw a bit of it last season as well in the SR8. It was fairly calm for the opening moments, and then the real battles commenced towards the very end of the race. So we're probably going to get some exciting finishes, but yeah, I don't know if we're going to get that wish of having people drafting off of one another, or not doing that, indeed, in draft trains throughout. We'll wait and see a little bit over the course of the day. But most of the discussion in the week, in fact, wasn't about that. It was about a couple of things, actually. But I'll first get to the setups side of things, because there was a lot of discussion about, because of the change to the SR10, and obviously we're moving back to it in the Radicals as well. A lot of change about and talk about brake bias, and everyone giving very varied answers as to what they've been running. Clearly, the SR10 has gone through radical changes, and I didn't mean that pun, but I've gone with it, over the course of the last couple of seasons. We didn't use it last season, indeed, but some of these drivers will have been driving it, and it sounds like it's gone through another big change now as well. People still have to get to grips with it, and not everyone has been able to do that yet.
No, I think there's a mixture, isn't there? Normally the base setup for these is 54.5 on the bias, but I think you can see some of them are running a lot more. Simon Edwards is running 57.5 to 60, so he clearly feels that there's more in there as well to play with. The difficult thing is, because it's gone through two, as you say, radical changes, however, I do like that pun, without these guys being sort of fully in love with it. You know, it went through the first one last season. They absolutely diabolicaled the car. Nobody drove it. They've gone through it again. People like the car, but are now having to tweak how they drive the car. And I think that's one of the things they've got to look out for, is how they go about tweaking it and setting it up and getting it comfortable for them. Because the changes might not be able to, as we see Dela Cruz there getting a squirm on coming out there as well. So it's always going to be tricky. But I think at the end of the day, these guys will get used to it. I don't think it's going to take them very long. I think they would have got their practice in, and I think they're going to go and smash it as they always do. VJ, welcome in to you as well. Come on, Davies, he is saying. Chris Max Davies, new to the series this evening. And good evening, gentlemen. Edwards is on fire again, says Paula May. Well, he's not wrong, is he, on a 2:11.168 at the moment?
Yeah, he's absolutely flying at the moment. Disappointed to see, by the way, that Paula May not on the grid here today. Yeah, didn't want to cause any problems. Says his hands are not good. I don't know what he's done, but anyway, he's unfortunately not here today. And will hopefully return for the remainder of the season, because we have had some quite long-term injuries to some of our most reliable and most regular appearance drivers. I don't know quite the way to say that, but yeah, we've hopefully Paul Lemay is not one of those, and we'll be seeing him on the grid again soon. Another big discussion point throughout earlier today was what we're going to do next week, because on the official schedule we've got Nordschleife, and I thought everyone would be a little bit more willing to do it, but clearly people aren't quite so willing to do that. There's been a bit of talk about going back to Le Mans, as we did for the last part of the last season. A few tracks flying about in somewhat half-joking manner. Can't tell if they're quite being fully serious or not about some of the circuits, especially. But clearly, we don't quite know which circuit we'll be racing at next week, and we might not know until after the weekend, to be honest. It's still up in the air as to whether we'll be going to the Northside or not, and I think it's likely that we won't be heading there for yet another season.
I think we should. I think we absolutely should. Do the Nords in the middle of the season. Why not? Why can't we do it? I think there's no reason, to be honest. You know, we went to Lemons and it was all right. It's just Le Mans, isn't it? We've been there already. Let's not go there again. Let's skip it and go to Nords. I don't see the problem with doing Nords in the middle of the season, to be honest. I think it will bring some good action, some good racing, and I think at the end of the day, hopefully these guys will go there. I think they've all got the talent, they've all got the skill, they all know how to drive it. They're very capable drivers. Why can't we go there?
Well, because they've got to drive it and they don't want to, I think, which is fair enough. We're only watching.
We'll go drive it and commentate on it while we're driving.
There'll be only two of us there, but yeah. After all, they are the ones who've got to drive the circuit, and if the majority vote is to not do that, then that's absolutely fine. I would like to see maybe something a little bit different. Maybe in the future, everybody votes for a track and it's put into a random selector and we just go a bit random. Obviously, you can't pick a track that's already in the schedule. I think should be a rule as well. But yeah, I think that would be a good idea for the future. It remains to be seen what we're going to do about that, because generally this series is very week by week and we deal with these things as they come along. So the Northside being next week, we're going to deal with that because it is next week. If it was the last round, we wouldn't be talking about it just yet. Because if you remember back to last season, we had the Northside at the end of our calendar for a very long time, until it got towards the end and we decided to change it for Le Mans, which I think was a good choice. But if we replaced Northside with Le Mans every season, we would get a little bit tired of Le Mans. So that's why I think maybe putting a few tracks in and then randomly selecting that from ones that are particularly popular with the drivers would be a good idea to settle it. But for this season, it just looks like Daryl Taylor's going to almost selects one at random himself of those that people have suggested to him, which is fair enough. But I think in all likelihood we won't be going to the Northside, and we'll be going somewhere a little bit different, somewhere we've not seen in quite a while, which can't be a bad thing. No,
I love Mark Fletcher's comment. Drive the track you're given. Colin Wynn is evening, girlfriends. I do love the fact that you jump in there, Colin, and call us that. That's very nice of you. And then, see, Colin Wynn says Nords. And then Fletch says maybe do the GP version. Why can't we go out and do something radical? Like, oh, God blimey. Tsukuba GP Full. Let's do that. I love Tsukuba Full.
I hate Tsukuba.
It's a quality track. Driving it is amazing. I'd love it.
I can't stand it.
I think it would be amazing. Or, I don't know, we VIR South or Twin Ring East or something out of the box, and do something different. There's loads of tracks on the service. We don't have to do the same ones like Nords, Le Mans, Parfitt. There's loads on there. Go out and pick one that we haven't driven for ages. Go, do something sporadic with it. I think that will sort of, be really good. I don't know. I'm in love with Nords. I like Nords, don't get me wrong, but let's do something outside of the box. There's loads of tracks on the service that you can mix up and match, personally.
Yeah, in the same way I don't think Nords will be the selection. I don't know if Le Mans will be either, to be fair. Could be something a little bit different. There were discussions about letting the champion from last season choose, John McCutcheon, the reigning champion, choose the circuit, which is, I guess, as good as going random. But he is Scottish, so would pick Knockhill based on what he said earlier on, which I wouldn't be opposed to exactly. And VJ in the YouTube chat suggesting that last place chooses the circuit. I'm not sure whether last place in the race or in the championship or what, but that's quite an idea as well. That could be interesting. Paul LeMay agrees that we need a change from Nordside every season. Alton Park would be great in this as selection. Well, you're in luck because we're there in a fortnight, so make sure you tune in. It's already on the schedule. We're definitely not going to pick a circuit that's already in there. And I know you weren't to know Alton Park's already in there, but I'm telling you now. So week 4, we'll look forward to that in a couple of weeks' time, because I don't know if you remember the race from 2 seasons ago, but it was absolutely fantastic. It was the third last race of the first season in 2023, and it was wonderful, really great action, as we've got that championship battle at the time that had 4 or 5 drivers still within it. And it was great entertainment. So we'll look forward to that in the future. But for now, we'll just divert from that discussion a little bit because we've got a qualifying session underway, and the first laps are finally coming in. It's Spa, of course, so it's taken quite a while to begin coming in. But now we do have those purple sectors coming through, and most of them belong to Simon Edwards based on the first half of the lap.
Yeah, definitely has there. He's got 2 under his belt already. It's great to see Luke Maxwell back for this one here as well. So Maxwell's back on track once more. Taylor's got some greens on the board. He's going to be looking like he could be one of the first across the line. However, all of them 5 at the bottom are all roughly in the same part. And we are watching Simon Edwards, partly because he's got the purples on the board, to be honest, as they're all going to be going across the line. And then basically, you're going to see a flash of times on the left-hand side. We will give it a minute to settle down here because there's going to be quite a lot. Buisson takes pole. Edwards takes pole. Where's Maxwell going to pop it up? He's going to put it in second there. Phil Jocelyn as well has got some times on the board. Darrell Taylor, another man once more. They're all kind of coming across the line at exactly the same point here. Chris Max Davies, a newcomer to the season. He's got a time on the board. Jamie Bird as well. So there's a lot of times coming in. Around about the 2:11.3 there for Simon Edwards. Ben Underdown says Fuji, maybe, not sure about that, but there are some. Go on.
Did he win a race at Fuji the other season, a couple of seasons ago? So. Is that why you're saying that?
Yeah,
I seem to have a memory of that, but maybe I could have invented that race entirely in my head.
It's possible, isn't it? But look, you got to think.
It's very possible.
What you got to think what you've got right on the track. You got tracks like Long Beach, Okayama, Oran Park, Sandown. You know, Sonoma, Silverstone. There's all of these tracks. Tsukubu's on there. Twin Ring has got multiple layouts. VIR's got multiple. Laguna is another one. You know, there's loads of circuits on there that we can pick from. So, Darrell Taylor, give it to me and I'll pick something for you all to drive on. Kota is even an option, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, Ben has just said yes, but I gave him 2 options. Whether did I invent that race, Ben, or not? Because
no, I think he did.
Because you just said yes. Yeah, I don't know which
one it is. Yeah, I think that's one of the questions where you go, babe, would you like this or this? And they go, yeah, go on. And you're like, okay.
Well, which one is it?
Yeah,
there's no right answer, really.
No.
It's just going to end in trouble either way. But no, I hope for his sake that I haven't invented it in my head, and that did happen. He did win. There we go.
Win, yeah,
wow, that's a very vague memory I've just dug out there for the
when did you pull that one out of?
I honestly don't know, but I have done, clearly. There we are. Simon Edwards still top of this qualifying session then. It's not a big gap over Luke Maxwell. They're both setting purple sectors on this lap as well, although Edwards has had a yellow sector towards the end here. There's Maxwell, who's got greens and purples everywhere. So, oh no! Maxwell! Not only is this lap ruined, but the next one as well. Luke Maxwell is going to plummet down the order now, and he'll be lucky to qualify inside the top 5 as a result. Simon Edwards, I don't think, improved there on his best lap time, and Luke Maxwell is going to be severely disappointed. John McCutcheon's not going to improve on this lap, but he will at least get another chance at his final lap, unlike Maxwell, who is back in the pit lane.
Yeah, Maxwell's spinning it up, coming out the bus stop there, unfortunately. And Hutch has got everything ready. He's going for it. This is going to be his lap. This is going to be the one he is going to hold on to and go full bore. John McHutchison, the man, the Scottish warrior, Ewan. Let's not forget, he didn't give up last season. He said it. He was in that championship fight until mathematically he wasn't. And I'm going to go for every win. And he did just that, and he did an absolute stellar job as well and come away with a championship. However, I will say one thing, a massive shout out to Sim Stickers, because if you haven't seen them trophies that they've been given for last season, their trophies look amazing. So go and check out Sim Stickers, simstickers.co.uk and simlife.co.uk, and have a look there as well. But them trophies are absolutely incredible, and he did, Paul did some great trophies for JPB and the Clios last season as well. So yeah, incredible from Sim Stickers. Go and check them out as well, because they're absolutely amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we should post them on Twitter or something or somebody should. But anyway, yeah, they were fantastic. I'm trying to find the comment now, but oh yeah, John said his wife said it was the proudest he's ever looked. So there we are. It's nice to get the trophy at the end of the season, and he fully deserved it as well. And by the way, McCutcheon looked scarily fast at Road America last week. I thought that Edwards was going to run away with that second race. If you remember, he was starting around 5th because he went off the road at the end of race 1. McCutcheon, having won race 1, started 10th but still chased him down and battled towards the end. I know he didn't actually end up going on to win that race, McCutcheon, but he looks scarily quick, and I wonder whether he can repeat that here at Spa.
Yeah, he's definitely going for it now. Down Blanchimont he goes. We've got about 55 seconds on the clock. Fletch says, I want one. Fletch, you don't even know what they look like. I'll send you a picture of them. They are absolutely amazing. I might see if we can get them for this year's GT4s as well, because they are incredible. Hutchinson now's 45 seconds. He's got to nail this. He isn't nailing it at the moment. He's just got a green. There's going to be a slight improvement. Whether or not it's going to be enough, though, Ewan, that's the thing we've got to look out for. Can he hook this up? He's hooked it up nicely there on the exit, and he's going to come across the line. Just run straight up the right-hand side, sir. Take the white line. What are you going to do?
No improvement.
2:12,
no
4:54. No.
So, for John McCutcheon, so that's the top 7 all in the pit lane. Really no improvements towards the end. I said Maxwell would be lucky to finish inside the top 5, but I was basing that on previous improvements that we get generally for out of session. Normally the first lap's the slowest and the last one's the fastest, but we've barely seen any improvement from anybody throughout this session. And Edwards, with his first lap of the 3, has taken pole position here, and I can't remember the last time that happened in the Radical Race Series at all. Maybe it's something to do with the SR10, maybe something to do with Spa, but that is an unusual qualifying session that has seen Simon Edwards take pole by about half a second ahead of Luke Maxwell. John McCutcheon and Mike Poussin will be sharing the row behind them, with Seth Brown and Robert Woodward on row 3. Michael LeMay and Sergio de la Cruz share row 4 ahead of Wayne Palmer and Jamie Bird, rounding out the top 10. David Royston and James Chowder on row 6, Darryl Taylor and Paul Godden are next, with Phil Glover and Damien G on row 8. Phil Jocelyn and Chris McDavis were the final drivers to set times, and it's Colin Wynn and Graham Brown who are on the final row together. Although I do have questions that, oh no, they will all start at this race. It'll be 20 cars on the grid, and an exciting race at Spa. Can this man take pole position and the race win all in one?
Well, that will only be determined by the next 7 laps, young sir, of the sprint, and 11 in the feature. I'm not going to sit here and count out John McCutcheon. I'm not going to lie. What this man can achieve in this car is absolutely incredible. I'm not sitting here saying Simon is slow, because we know he's not. Luke Maxwell's in the mix, Boussin's in the mix as well, and we could have an epic top 4 fight here, and one that I think if they all get hooked up together on that run down through El Rouge and Radion, they could do an absolutely incredible job. But we are going to be underway very, very shortly, young sir.
We will. It's taken an unusually long time, but we're finally underway now. The teammates McCutcheon and Boussin share row 2, and they will be the last ones, apart from Damien G, to get on with this. And I've no idea what he's doing, but there we are. G's finally figured out whatever he was figuring out, and we're ready to go. The lights will come on then. It's round 2 of the Radical Race Series for Season 3 in 2023, and we are underway at Spa. It's not a good start from McCutcheon on the second row, but the front 2 have gotten away well. Edwards slightly worse than Maxwell, but he will protect the lead in towards turn 1. He goes a little bit deep into La Source, but a great exit from him, and he'll hold on to it through the opening corner of this race. They'll plunge downhill now towards Eau Rouge as the battles really kick off behind. It's Seth Brown and Mike Poussin who were briefly side by side towards Eau Rouge. They've sorted themselves out, but Robert Woodward hasn't. He's smashed into the wall, I think. Has he, or is he just dropping backwards on the road? I think he's just dropping backwards. He's saved his car, but he's dropped about 10 places as a result. It's a big draft up towards Lecombe. We're 3 wide for 4th place as Mike Poussin gets into that one again. Jamie Bird was getting up there as well, but he goes off the road at Lecombe, and there's an almighty battle going on for 5th place, which Michael LeMay has seen himself at the front of.
Yeah, Michael LeMay, Seth Brown, Sergio de la Cruz, Jamie Bird and David Rolliston all got away cleanly as they plunged down through Rivage now onto that run down into No Name. It was an interesting start there. McCutcheon did not get off the line well. That first phase of that pull away did not do him any favours there as well, and he literally was under pressure straight away from Boussin. Boussin didn't really push as much as what I thought he would have done or could have done, but I think at the end of the day, he's done what he needs to do. He's there backing Matt Hutchinson up, and he's there once again providing what he does in that wingman service there as well. Damien G has got Phil Glover, who's just gone through as well. G's down in 16th currently at the moment. However, Glover does go wide, and G takes the position back. Woodward there is plunging down. He's down 11 and is currently all the way down.
Michael LeMay's off the road at Stavelot, and yeah, there he is in the gravel. He may well have got assistance to be there because Seth Brown was very close behind him and maybe had a look in towards Stavelot, and maybe that's how he... Oh no, it's on his own.
Far, yeah.
He's going to be really frustrated with that because he was in a top 5 position and now he's down to last.
Yeah, Colin Wynn has just got past Paul Godden as well. They're unlucky for Michael LeMay. Come on, Paul, give him some tips and pointers. Jamie Bird and David Rolliston are going side by side. Rollo's just slipped up the inside of the bus stop once more. Edwards set the fastest lap of the race on a 2:15.414. 2 laps down, and we've still got 5 remaining, and it's going to be absolutely incredible racing here with these guys, with Jamie Bird and David Rolliston side by side.
Yep, it's good racing here, and the battles for 5th on downwards, as we usually see. This is the kind of thing that Spa can produce for us. I know it may seem a little bit single file and follow the leader up front, but in the midfield, there's absolutely everything to fight for. It's Jamie Bird at the front of this mini group within the group. Dave Rolliston involved as well, and they're not even sitting around here, indeed. Maxwell looking up the inside. Not sure when McCutcheon got through, actually, but he has done at some point. And they're fighting further behind with 3 wide towards La Source. There's not space for everybody there. There was contact. Child is in front of Rolliston, who's in front of Palmer, as they've sorted themselves out through the chicane.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Went 3 wide into La Source. Child nicked up the inside. He had massive overspeed from the 2, and he went up the inside and absolutely did a stellar job taking the positions away there. But I think at the end of the day, he was lucky they got away with that. Godden was in the middle. He was squeezed like a cheese sandwich, unfortunately, and he managed to get away with it and did an absolutely incredible job saving it. I think it was actually Palmer there. Maxwell, Fletcher's come out with something as well. Woodward could have got a slow down off the exit of El Rouge and Radion. He might have taken that inside line or the outside line and got a slow down, so that's more of a possibility than what we thought about him slamming into the wall there, Ewan.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a real possibility for a time that was going to happen, but out front, Simon Edwards has run away with this. He's more than a second in front of John McCutcheon, who's got Luke Maxwell right behind him. Let's not forget that Maxwell wasn't here at Road America. Bousson was, by the way. He finished 4th in the round overall, but Maxwell wasn't here, so he's getting his championship charge off to a start today. Outside line for Maxwell now, down on the brakes into the chicane, and if he can hold it there, he'll have the inside for the very last corner of the circuit, but he doesn't hold it there. He stays behind, and Bousson will close in as they all lose time to the race leader, Simon Edwards.
Oh, Child of contact, Child of Rolliston. Front to rear there with Rollo and Child. Child's really putting it about tonight. He's looking incredibly racy, is James Child, and he's up 3 places already. He's just about to try and run Rollo 2 wide down the hill. If they go up 2 wide through El Rouge and Radion here, this has got to be a battle, and they've got to basically do this fully respectful. Otherwise, this is all going to go wrong, and one of them's going to end up in the wall here. Child backs out a little bit. Rollo takes the front, but that's going to be Rollo under attack from not only David Rolliston, but he's also got James Child and Wayne Palmer picking up the draft behind him as well. They're 2 wide, 2 deep in front at the same time, as Brown and Dela Cruz is having a battle, and I think there's been an off there. Looks like Jocelyn and Damien G. Nope, Damien G just lost a couple of positions.
Yeah, they're just... Oh, there's been an off in front, though. Palmer's off, and I think Rolliston as well. They're getting going again. And it was Colin Wynn, actually, who was off the road most, and he's dropped off the back of the group, as you can see, just in the background. It's still side by side between Glover and somebody else in the... Oh, no! And there's contact behind as well. Bill Glover involved. And it was Robert Woodward he was side by side with. This is the moment down towards Bruxelles. It all kicked off with Colin Wynn, did it?
He got it
his
out of
overheated
control.
tyres, he's spun in front of the group, and he's got on the grass. He's done, well, everybody's done really, really well to avoid him there, because he could have easily been cleaned up by everyone.
Yeah, massive gap, massive, kind of really caused a big problem there as well. And here in this guy, these four fighting out, the two guys from Sim Stickers sandwiching David Rollerstone with James Child in front. Child's opening up a little bit of a gap. He's got about 6 tenths, but this ain't done by any shape or form either. Neither is Hutchinson and Buson. Hutchinson lost a position to Maxwell and is now under attack from Buson here. Is Buson going to make that move, do you reckon? Do you think he's going to go past him this evening?
I think that, well, there won't be any team orders between the two of them. We've seen that in the past, but I'm not sure whether he's going to be able to. Luke Maxwell got through, by the way, on the last lap up towards Le Combe as we were watching those fights in the midfield, which saw all of that catastrophe for some. But it was a good pass from Maxwell.
Oh, there's been a big one.
There has. Woodward has been involved in a crash at the final chicane by the looks of it. So Paul Godden's involved here. It's late on the brakes from everybody down into the chicane, and there's
just all
a bit of a stack up.
Yeah, I think that was it. To be honest, the timing screen picked up that everybody had a crash.
Yeah, I think Woodward did, to be honest, because he's off the back of the group. You can see he's 4 seconds off of 19th, which is unusual. Oh, my word. John McCutcheon there was sliding everywhere as he just passed Luke Maxwell on the inside. Maxwell will do the over and under, and he'll be down or inside here very soon. He will not be late enough on the brakes for that, though. Wasn't quite brave enough and decided that this is not the time to go for that. So we'll stay behind for another lap, and there are still a few more laps remaining in this race. But a good battle between these three. As those battles further behind just split apart, these three get ever closer.
Yeah, they definitely do. Here, Maxwell, Buson and Hutch battling it out. Once again, it just seems like they just go gloves off, get in the SR10 and they go for it. But you know the best thing about this is they don't go for it in stupid mannered ways where they're torpedoing up the inside and sending it. They go for it when they can actually make the overtake, when they can actually make the pass without causing anyone any problems. And they do it so cleanly and so respectfully. You know, like last week at Road America, it was like me to you, to me to you with Hutch and Edwards. And in the end, Edwards took it. But they're so respectful of each other. And I think that's what this league sets apart from it, is the fact that they are respectful, but they're also absolutely awesome at racing these SR10s. And it's great to see we've got it again here. Another freeway battle with Maxwell, Buson and Hutch. And this ain't going to be finished either.
Yep, it's certainly not. 3 locked together with 3 laps remaining, or 2 at the end of it. It's 2, isn't it?
2 at the end of this one.
2 at the end of it, so 3.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
but,
I suppose it is.
I didn't realise whether Edwards had crossed the line yet to make this lap 5, or is the next one 6. I was losing count already. I know I've got 10 fingers, but I still can't quite keep track. Anyway, 3 laps including this one. McCutcheon is at the front for now, but how long is this going to last for? And it doesn't even really matter. It's about who's going to be there at the end. Unless we're going to go 3 wide, are we? Buson doesn't know which way to go. He'll go right, he'll go left, he'll go through the middle to try and take second place away from Maxwell. McCutcheon goes from the front to the back. Maxwell stays in the middle, and Mike Buson goes from 4th to 2nd.
Just like that. Just like that, he put it in the middle and he absolutely smashed it. A man from Froome in Somerset absolutely did an incredible job. He threaded it through the 2 of them. It did look like Hutch backed out, though, I'm not going to lie. So I don't know if that's sort of some form of ploy or some little Scottish tactic that he's got up his sleeve there. But he did definitely lift. He could have run that 3 wide a lot deeper. He didn't. He erred on the side of caution. And Buson said, well, if you're going to all hang around, I'm going to go for it. And he did go for it as well. Seth Brown fighting it out with Dela Cruz down here as well. Still battles with Palmer also involved. Godden and Wynn are all battling. They're further down the order, of course. Seth Brown trying to have a go here with Dela Cruz on the run into Fagnier currently at the moment. Turn right and then he's going to go left. And he's going to be looking like he's possibly going to make that move out of Paul Ferrer and down through Blanchimont into the bus stop. It's an option. Let's see if he takes it or not.
It is an option, but it's normally one you use on the last lap rather than in the middle of the race. By the way, don't be confused by Brown in the pit lane. That's Graham Brown, who started last and unfortunately looks like he'll be finishing last as a result of being in the pit lane so far. Mike Buson pulls out the way of Luke Maxwell then, by the looks of it, down in towards the chicane. He didn't really want to fight that battle. deciding that it's better to let Maxwell through right now to maybe get that run on the Kemmel straight and through again. But on the penultimate lap, I'm not sure what McCutchinson's going to do, because maybe being third in this group's not the best idea, but Bousson might well want to be in this second place in the group. Maybe Maxwell was trying that one out for the very final lap. If he finds himself in second going towards the bus stop, he now knows that he'll be able to get the run to do it.
It's going to be interesting, as I say, unless he's playing chess in that car with these guys in front, working out where he can and can't go and what's he going to be able to do. He's had a lap and a half now behind him, so we can see what's happening. But what is his draft run going to be like as well? Bousson's pulled out again. Bousson's going to do Maxwell once more. So Maxwell goes back down into third. Bousson second, Hutchin fourth. Graham Brown had a crash, and that's why he's in the pits. Jamie Bird looks like he's just also had a bit of a ta-ta-ta and has got into the pits as well. And there's possibly also Damien G entered into the pit lane. So I'm not entirely sure what happened with Damien G, but he's got into the pits. But Wayne Palmer, James Child here. Child goes through on him there. Paul got him behind, trying to get hold of Darrell Taylor, and he's having a run. Dela Cruz is also having a run with Seth Brown. So there's action all the way through here with only 2 laps remaining.
There is. It's hard to know where to look at the moment. Seth Brown forced to go on the outside at Pouon. This is unlikely to work, and indeed doesn't around the outside through there.
Oh, but he got a good run out,
understandable.
though.
Because of the way the corner is. Dela Cruz will be on the defensive again towards Piff Paff now, but he'll once again back out, and maybe he'll be in the same situation as they head towards Stavilo, and he'll back out again and maybe wait for the final lap, maybe wait for the bus stop. There goes Dela Cruz defending again. They know they've got 6 seconds either side of them, so they can fight like this, but Dela Cruz is defending into every corner at the moment.
Well, he hasn't got a choice. Brown is looking quick. You know what I mean? He hasn't. He ain't really got a choice of what to do. He's got to sit there and defend. He clearly hasn't got the pace going forward, so he's got to be sitting there waiting and defending, and that's what he's kind of doing. He's doing what he needs to be doing. He's doing an absolutely stellar job doing it, but unfortunately for him, he's got to be looking at trying to move forward. If he can get forward, then it might help him. But he just doesn't, unfortunately, look like he's in that position to do that. And Brown is looking quicker here, and Brown does take it once more. Now, this is the final lap. This is the run we want to see. Is McCutchinson going to be able to do it? Is Maxwell going to clear Bousson on that run into Lacombe?
I don't think McCutchinson's really close enough here, although the slipstream is probably bigger than I'm expecting here. Maxwell certainly is close enough. He's almost there as they go through the kink here on the Kemmel Straight. Bousson will be forced to defend, and Maxwell's going to roar past him. Here comes McCutchinson as well. He'll go through on the inside. Where's he going to go? Through the middle. McCutchinson to the outside of Lecombe, and he will take second place. He pulls it up for the corner as well. So Maxwell carries on in third place. He's been behind both of them. He's been sandwiched between both of them time and time again, and he's there once more as McCutchinson waited for his moment to strike. He has struck on the very last lap, and now he's got to hold out to the finish.
And that is exactly what we were talking about. Exactly what we were talking about when we turned around and said he is better off being in third there. The only trouble he's got now, he's got to defend down into Blanchimont. He's got to put that SR10 in a position where Maxwell decides he doesn't have anywhere to go, or he needs to find a gap, because if he doesn't, he's going to lose this on that run. Don't get me wrong, Hutch has not had a good run out of Fagnier there, and he hasn't been looking like he's going to jeopardise going into Paul Ferrer, so he's sliding a little bit, so Maxwell might have this opportunity to run down Blanchimont and get him into the run into the bus stop. But if Maxwell parks it on the inside there, Hutch parks it, Maxwell's got no hope.
Well, I think he'll have a chance here, certainly. He'll even have a chance in draws Blanchimont, but he'll just hang back. He'll feather the throttle a little bit, and he'll power through this left-hander. Look how close he gets. He has to pull out immediately to the left-hand side to try and get this move. Late on the brakes on the outside of the chicane. He's almost too late, but he's done it nearly. McCutchinson goes round the outside, and Bousson might have him on the run to the line as well. He will do. Maxwell goes for second, and he loses the podium. Simon Edwards will win the race up the road in a dominant display. One of the most dominant we've seen in quite some time from him, actually. McCutchinson holds on for second, and Bousson steals a podium away from Maxwell. As he went for that second place, he loses the podium entirely.
Yeah, incredible run there. He tried You got to give him 10 out of 10 for effort there. He absolutely tried to go into that last bus stop and try to put it up the side. It was almost pinpoint perfect, and he just didn't quite brake early enough to get it stopped into the outside line. He had it. And don't get me wrong, boy, oh boy, did he have it. If he just stopped it, if he just braked that little bit earlier, he would have run that outside line and he would have done it incredibly. But he jeopardized it when he went in deep. He couldn't get it turned for the exit. He went over the curb, was slow on the exit. Hutch just said thank you very much. And then Buson, as we saw, also come up and said, cheers, thanks very much for that. I'll have some of that as well.
Well, I'm not sure there was a lot he could have done about Buson, actually, because Buson clearly saw what was happening in front of him. He was going to get the better exit out of everyone. And if Maxwell did a little bit better here in terms of what you're saying, I think Buson might have got both of them. But in the end, Maxwell got things a little bit wrong and so lost out on both positions. But if those two remain side by side, Maxwell and McCutcheon, I think Buson is going to get that run anyway. And he's going to make it 3 wide down the front straight to try and get that position away. Now, obviously... it's hard to say that without that, because that didn't happen. But it's he very much could have done, and it bodes well for the second race as well, because those 4, especially the top 4, I would imagine, are going to make their way through the field, and I think those 4 will be fighting over the win at the end of this next race.
Well, do you know the interesting thing about it is the people that are behind them are not slow. Look, there's the results there. 10th place, you got Paul Godden.
Yeah.
But, but there's the results there as well from race 1. Incredible race, to be fair.
Ah, yes. Sorry, I was so engrossed by that battle, I didn't even realise we hadn't done the results yet. Simon Edwards has won ahead of John McCutcheon, Mike Buson and Luke Maxwell, as you just saw in that great battle. Seth Brown eventually saw Sergio de la Cruz for 5th. Jamie Bird won that race for 7th, ahead of James Child and Wayne Palmer. Paul Godden joins them in the top 10 and will be benefiting from the reverse grid. Phil Jocelyn just misses out. Darryl Taylor will be 12th. He was in a battle with Damien G and Michael LeMay and Colin Wynn, who finished 15th. Robert Woodward has just detached from that in 16th, ahead of David Roston. Chris Max Davies, I think, had to come into the pit lane at some stage in that race. He certainly had an issue or two late on. He's 18th. Phil Glover was 19th and Graham Brown was 20th at the end of that race. But it bodes well for the second one. I think those who will be sent to the back because of the reverse grid will still be able to make their way through to the front, because it's not exactly hard to overtake at Spa.
No, it definitely ain't. That draft is just incredible. Ewan Bramer would love to try open setups these times as well. You should come along on a Thursday, Ewan. Get yourself involved. We're only second run in. You can come and have a crack there as well. And obviously Paul LeMay does reinforce that open setups are much better. Kind of have to agree. I think open is the way to go. But, I don't really drive probably as much as I should, and neither do you, probably, Ewan. So both of us really aren't in a position to say, are we?
About driving or lack of drive?
Open setups.
Oh, open setups. No,
open or fixed?
I can't even. Well, you're right. I can't even make a comment on it, to be honest,
no.
because I don't drive. Paul Godden then will be taking the pole position for this second race, having finished 10th in race 1. Wayne Palmer will be alongside him with James Child and Jamie Bird on the second row. Sergio de la Cruz and Seth Brown behind that. Maxwell, Buson, McCutcheon and Edwards, your top 4 from the last race, inside the top 10, as you can see. Phil Jocelyn and Darryl Taylor on row 6. And then in the 13th place, it's Damien G lining up alongside Michael LeMay. Colin Wynn and Robert Woodward will be on row 8 ahead of David Roston and Chris Max Davies. Phil Glover and Graham Brown bring up the rear of this 20-car grid, ready for 11 laps of racing here at Spa. It's a very similar amount of laps to what we had at Road America. We had a 12-lap feature. Following on from a 7-lap sprint, we've got just the 11 here in Belgium. The lights will be coming on then for the second race of the second round in the Radical Race Series. We get underway now. It's a good start in the background there from a couple of those running a little bit further back, like Brown and Maxwell, but not a good one, I'm afraid, for James Child, who initially falls backwards. Into La Source we go for the first time. It's mostly clean. Seth Brown has to run around the outside just a little bit, but he's gotten away with it. Simon Edwards already up to 8th place ahead of John McCutcheon. They're all ahead of James Child, though, who's already outside the top 10. Luke Maxwell battles up the hill, just ahead of Sergio De La Cruz and Mike Bootson, who go side by side. Maxwell goes side by side with Seth Brown up towards the Kemmel Straight now. They're absolutely locked together. They're all over the place, in fact. Bird and also one of the others, Wayne Palmer as well, battle for 2nd place. As who's that dropping back? It's Bootson, who's dropping way back. I wonder if he's got a slow down penalty on this opening lap.
Yeah, it looks like he did. There's no reason why he should be that far back apart from a slowdown. And unfortunately, where they were all so close, Bootson was just stuck there. He just saw his places plummet as well. He's just about to go and try and go up the inside there of Phil Glover. But there is Colin Wynn again struggling on this circuit once more. I do feel sorry. Didn't get much driving in last season. But they're still battling. Daryl Taylor battling away here. Phil Jocelyn and Damien G going for it once more around Pouan. And then when you've still got the up front of Jamie Bird, Luke Maxwell. And then we've got the 2 sim stickers, boys, of Wayne Palmer and Paul Godden. So can they hang on with this one with 11 laps on the clock? It would be great to see, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it would be great to see, but it's hard to see that happening. Really.
Positive thinking, Mr. O'Leary. Positive thinking this evening.
Well, it's not up to me to positively think for them. Seth Brown goes miles off the circuit there at the Curveball Frere, and he'll be eaten up now by John McCutcheon, you'd imagine. Luke Maxwell's already on the outside of Blanchimont. This is brave. Jamie Bird does him a favour and backs out of it, going into the fast left-hander. Simon Edwards has gotten through on Seth Brown as well. I'm not sure what happened to McCutcheon, actually, but he didn't get through on anyone. Has actually dropped back a little bit, but everybody's locked together. The top 10 all in a bit of a slipstream train. Well, maybe not the bottom 3 of them, actually. They're all embroiled in a side-by-side battle, but the main 4 from that opening race are all up there, with the exception of Mike Bootson, who's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, Bootson has. He's got the job to try and get onto the back. Of course, again, we think he got a slow down, so he is basically there, unfortunately for him. But it is going to be an exciting one. Luke Maxwell still battling away. He's now chasing down the boys in front. Can they hold on? Can they do it? This is going to be the question. It's very difficult to see, but we never know. It could be one that could come out of the world here, and Maxwell.
Oh, Luke Maxwell!
He's going to do them all.
Wow! 3 wide in towards Lecombe, and Luke Maxwell takes the lead. Wayne Palmer's going to give him a run for his money, though, around the outside. It's not going to happen, and Luke Maxwell will take the lead in a brilliant 3 wide manoeuvre. Palmer in 2nd, then Jamie Bird's up to 3rd, and Simon Edwards has stayed in 5th. John McCutcheon was going for a trip across the grass as well, you saw in the background. No idea how he ended up there, but there's a change for the lead. Luke Maxwell's to the front, and it was a fantastic move.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. He pulled what basically McCutcheon did on the last lap to him before. He went through the 2 of them and said, thank you very much. If you guys are going to battle, I'm going to go through. And he did just that as well. They tried to spread the track, but unfortunately with spreading the track, they left that inside line. And Maxwell doesn't need twice, you know. You don't have to give him an invitation and then send him an RSVP reminder. He will go take it the first time. And he did there, and he absolutely took it and did an absolute stellar job. I've got a funny feeling now, if nobody can get up, and we've got Edwards in 4th at the moment, they've got Bird and Palmer. If Edwards doesn't clear Bird and Palmer, I can see Maxwell running away with this. I've got to be honest.
Yeah, I think he is going to run away with it unless Edwards takes them both on this lap. Then, on the next run up the Kemmel Straight, then yeah, I can see Maxwell running away with this. Although I said that last week at Road America about Simon Edwards, and indeed he didn't run away with it. So let's see. Down the inside for Jamie Bird into the bus stop, and down the inside for McCutcheon as well. McCutcheon's into the top 5, Bird's into 2nd place, but they continue to lose time to Luke Maxwell, who sets the fastest lap of the race, unsurprisingly. But the fact he made 2 overtakes on that lap makes it very, very impressive indeed. Seth Brown and Paul Godden work side by side towards turn 1. Mike Booson's into the top 10 again, at least, with a pass on Damien G.
Yeah, he has managed to get back up there as Mike, so that's an absolutely stellar job for him. Managed to get up the road there as well. Palmer's now got Edwards tucked up behind him as they're going to go racing up over the hill. There they are, some absolutely amazing, incredible vehicles, and one there that are incredible to drive when they're in the right position to drive. Bird is on the defensive here from Palmer. If Palmer's going to do it, I'm surprised he didn't slot in a lot earlier. Seth Brown going side by side with Dela Cruz and Paul Godden, and then you've got Damien G and Buson, and then you've also got Colin Wynn having a go. So they're still battling out all the way down here. This is the battle for 13th, 12th, 13th and 14th, so it's just never ending.
Yeah, Graham Brown involved, and he's come from 20th to 13th already. There's Graham Brown, although Will is about to get overtaken here by Colin Wynn, you'd think. In towards Bruxelles, maybe not. Side by side. Very close. Brown pinches him just enough, and might well hold on to that 13th position, will he? Well, no, it's not going to be that simple. They're still side by side. Phil Glover will be here as well. And they'll continue their fight for his 13th position. Down the inside for Brown, for Wynn on Brown. Shoulder barges him out wide a little bit there, and through goes Colin Wynn into 13th place.
Yeah, and then you got the battle here with Edwards, and now he's still got Palmer, but the problem for Edwards is not Palmer in front in hindsight, it's what he's got behind. He's got the John McHutchinson right behind him, and Maxwell's slowly edging out. Oh, did Palmer give that up? That looked like far too easy for Edwards to get through there.
Well, there's not a lot you can do on the run up towards Blanchemont, really. John McHutchinson's going to get through as well on Wayne Palmer, so it looks like most of those who are in the top four in that opening race are going to be on the podium at least in this one. Although Maxwell has got a bit of a gap. Has he taken this race win and run with it? Well, it might be too early to say, because John McHutchison set a fastest lap of the race so far on that previous one, and they're all closing in. There'll be another opportunity to take Jamie Burr for second place coming up as well. Out of La Source, everyone comes again, and it's going to be Mike Booson down the inside, trying to get down the inside of Michael LeMay. He can't do it there. Simon Edwards gets very close to Jamie Bird as well up the hill. I'm sure they'll be side by side. Edwards working his way through now indeed. Where's McHutchinson going to go? I don't think he's going to be able to get through as well. It's only going to be Simon Edwards who manages to make his way through, and he had to work quite hard for it. So Jamie Bird moves back. It's side by side between Godden and LeMay, and that means that Booson can't really go anywhere. Although he will finally get the chance to now, will he, through Malmedy? Yes, he will. Cuts back, and it will be on the inside for the hairpin, although not far enough alongside. He'll stay 10th.
Yeah, he didn't quite get the exit where we thought he was going to get, and unfortunately he just didn't get that run up there as well. Bird is not giving up now. He's got McHutchinson. Hutch is going to go take it out the inside of Pouon, and he is through. And now we're back to the main three that we've got, with Maxwell, Edwards and Hutchin in the top three, with Bird behind and Palmer. We've also got Booson still battling away there. Michael LeMay's managed to open up a little bit of a gap to these guys as these guys battling out. Booson says thank you very much as he goes into Fanier and then goes into deep. So they're going to come back at him, unfortunately, for Booson. So a little bit of an accident there from Mike, as we were saying how well he was doing. And Damien G once more is battling it out with Paul Godden on this run down into Blanchemont. So there's still action across the field. Robert Woodward having a go as well, and Darrell Taylor are still out on track. We've lost James Child. It looks like Graham Brown's had a little bit of an incident, and unfortunately he is running down in 17th at the moment. But yeah, they're still going all the way through.
Yeah, they certainly are. Wilson's having a real hard time here. Paul Godden is giving him a hard time. He's back to where he's finished the first race, though, he's gotten already, which is a shame for him, but that's generally what happens. You generally do lose places in a reverse grid, especially if you're on the wrong side of the top five.
Yeah, that generally can happen as well. The problem is with Paul, and Paul's a realist, and that's what I love about Paul. It's not the fact that he's there on track and he doesn't deserve to be there, because he clearly does, but he is a realist in what he says about his ability.
Oh, Simon Edwards. Sorry, Simon Edwards is going for the lead here. I wasn't expecting this. I knew he was back in the slipstream again, but I didn't think he was anywhere near close enough for a move, and he is. Simon Edwards through into the race lead. Luke Maxwell back to second, and McHutchinson's come together with Jamie Bird. Jamie Bird's off the road. It's Wayne Palmer who will replace him in that place. He thankfully hasn't gone all the way around, but Jamie Bird drops to 5th place as a result of contact at Lacombe.
Yeah, Buson still going with Paul Godden. Godden's not giving up. Damien G's just got nowhere to go. I didn't realise that, but that gap was like 1.2 seconds. I thought Maxwell was going to pull away with it. I thought it was job done. He's a good and is a winner. But clearly, Edwards had different ideas here as well. Michael LeMay has gone down. He's just lost a place at the same time. Damien G, Paul Godden. Michael LeMay just lost, well, I think it was like 3 places he lost there as well to Buson, Godden, and he didn't quite lose that place there to Rolliston. But yeah, Michael LeMay's lost a couple of positions as well.
Yeah, it's a really hard-fought battle here in this group, but I'm very surprised Edwards has been able to catch up so quickly. It's the second race in a row, though, that I've said the race leader will go on to win this without any challenge. And now look, it's not turned out that way. Simon Edwards involved both times. He was on the being caught side last week. He's doing the catching this time round. He's already done it, in fact. This is way earlier in the race than John McCutcheon caught up to Edwards 1 week ago. We're still a long way from the finish. And Maxwell has got a big battle here with Edwards, but the slipstream will keep him involved, and it should be between these two to the end at the very least. It might well be between them and McCutcheon as well.
Yeah, Maxwell must have gone off. Never in a month for Sundays is he going to lose 1.2 seconds over a lap. And he did it in that last lap. I've got no incidents for him, but he must have gone off somewhere, because you don't just lose 1.2 seconds out of the middle of nowhere. It's just not possible. But he managed to as well. And I'm wondering if he got a slowdown at the top of the hill, and that's why he's lost that time. And that's why when we picked the battle up, Edwards was side by side. So I am wondering if there was a slowdown involved for Maxwell, and that's why he lost the position that he did do, not because of the fact that he was slow. Well, technically it was, but he just got a slowdown as Bird and Palmer are going side by side, and Bird's just got through. The same situation here with Damien G and he's battling away with Paul Godden in front. So they're still going at it here as well.
That was Michael LeMay, I thought, was going off the road there at Lecombe, but he's just pulled it up in time. He's running 11th at the moment. Graham Brown is back to 16th again. I don't know why he's yo-yoing so much, but he's in a battle now with Chris Max Davies for 16th place, just by holding 13th quite convincingly earlier on. Maybe this is going to be the reason why. Has he been turfed off the road maybe by someone?
Bill Glover.
Oh,
no.
Wow. That's too late on the brakes. It's really awkward trying to get back as well because of that wall. And he's, it's come to a stop there. I don't know why, but just making sure he doesn't cut the course too much, I suppose. And he drops to 16th as a result of that little moment there.
He would have had a slowdown.
Maybe. But I don't think it would have been that much of a slowdown, would it? He didn't have to come to a dead stop.
They're quite harsh on it. I'm not going to lie. The slowdowns around here are quite horrendous, to be honest. He didn't go off, says Paul LeMay. In reference to what? I appreciate you're a little behind there. So in reference to what, dear, are we talking that he didn't go off? Wayne Palmer and Seth Brown. Brown's coming.
Oh, Luke Maxwell, I'd imagine. I'll think about it. Luke Maxwell, he didn't go off. I'm going to guess. And I agree as well. I know what you're saying, that the fact that Maxwell wouldn't lose 1.2 seconds in a lap, but you've got to remember that, no, he wouldn't in normal pace, but even if he loses 4/10 in that lap, it does bring the gap down to 8/10, where you're getting a benefit from the slipstream, and then you're just gaining time that's not even you, it's just slipstream. So it's sort of free time, if you like, that you're gaining. So I know what you're saying, that he wouldn't have lost that time in one lap, but the slipstream will have done some of the heavy lifting there for Edwards, and obviously he would have done another significant portion of it, but the slipstream would have just pushed him along as well to catch Maxwell there and overhaul him as well. But and you're seeing it now. Edwards caught Maxwell convincingly, but he can't get away because of the slipstream.
Yeah, Brown's just gone past Palmer there. The other, Michael LeMay and Damien G, are running side by side, and LeMay is now up 4 places into 10th. Next on his list is Mr. Paul Godden there. However, I don't think Damien G is just going to give up that easily. We didn't see Damien G at all last season, did we? I think he appeared for like one race and then he wasn't there again, unfortunately. But he's now going to run up the inside of Michael LeMay. They're going to be side by side, coming out of Rivage, down into No Name they go. LeMay is on the inside, G's behind him, and LeMay does manage to come back out and manage to hold on to that position. But yeah, G did like one race, I think, last season, if I'm not mistaken, am I?
We looked this up last week, but last season's results are now gone from the website because they're not relevant anymore. I think it was 3 races actually rather than 1, but it was low. It might have been 2. It was in that region anyway. We didn't see a lot of and that's what I mean when I said earlier on we had some quite long-term injuries to some of our most regular drivers, which was a shame. Thinking of guys like Damien G in particular. Colin Wynne has been missing for quite some time, hasn't he? Which is a shame. And with a number of others as well. But we've got a healthy 20-car grid here today, most of whom are still racing right now. It's Edwards and Maxwell for the race win, though. Edwards, having won the first race, looking to go back-to-back here and take the championship lead over from John McCutcheon, which he would be doing right now as things stand, but it's way too early for people to start talking about that, even me. They'll exit the La Source hairpin then, and Maxwell may well show no interest of going through for another lap because generally so far he hasn't shown any interest in going through.
No, definitely not. And Paul Crubbers, I think this is where we're at, and I've got to agree with Paul. Maxwell must have had a slowdown up El Rouge, and that's exactly what I'm thinking. If you look at the lap times last time out, 2:11.85 for Maxwell, 2:11.98. I don't think that Edwards was in that kind of draft area at the point that they hit La Source. There's no way he would have made up that time. Oh,
that's a big slide.
Yeah, Maxwell, go. No, you carry on, mate. Crack on with it.
Big slide for Simon Edwards. I thought he was losing the car entirely in front of Maxwell, which would have been a real turn up for the books, but he hasn't. He's carried on, and Maxwell will as well. Yeah, I'm not sure whether Maxwell's just waiting around here or whether he's actively trying to go through at the moment. If he's actively trying to go through, it's a bit of a worry, but I have a feeling he's not, and he's just hanging back, as we see a lot at the front, but we don't see so much in the midfield, which makes battles like this interesting to watch.
Yeah, this is Colin Wynne, Robert Woodward and Phil Glover. Glover's just run wide there. He's got to be looking at leaving space. He does do. Wynne was right up beside these 3 at one point. It's great having Colin back on track as well. Another recovery of a long injury there for Wynne, and couldn't unfortunately make it. But it's great to see him back on track. We did say last week he's going to get stronger and stronger as the season goes on. Back in the car, getting his eye back in, or his foot back in, or muscle memory, whatever you want to call it, and he'll do an absolutely stellar job. I've no doubt about that coming back through. Jamie Bird still going at it here. He's got Seth Brown and Wayne Palmer and Dela Cruz almost attached to the back as well. But Edwards and Maxwell is there, mind you, right behind him once more. I don't think if Maxwell stays within this draft, Ewan, he's going to be taking it. I think he'll go, possibly if he can stay there, I reckon he might have a run on the last lap, because I don't think he needs to be making that move any earlier.
Well, same, but where is he going to make the move? Because we've seen him be very patient in the past. He was second all throughout the latter portion of the opening race of the day, and then struck towards the chicane on the last lap. Now, will the demons of last race just haunt him a little bit to make him go a bit earlier, or is he going to stick to that one again? Because he is quite strong out of the Curve Pour Frere through Blanchimont and towards the chicane. Is he strong enough, though? He's certainly close enough to go for these moves at Les Combes, and Edwards is beginning to move around and try and prevent him from getting the slipstream. Maxwell is certainly close enough to have a go if he wanted to, but he can't. So the question remains, where will he try and make this move?
Bird and Brown and Palmer, they were almost 3 wide at one point, with Jamie Bird taking that position away. And then further down, we've got Paul Godden and Michael LeMay. It looks like Godden's going to have the inside line, but LeMay's going to run him round there and have the inside, but he has got the outside from Armady on that run down into Ravage. LeMay sweeps round, takes the position away. Absolutely a stellar job from him. To be honest, if Maxwell can get it, what I would try and do is, now don't get me wrong, we're no experts. What I would do now on this lap alone, 2 laps from the end, I would have a go at Maxwell down into the bus stop. Just see what I've got to do. If he takes it, you've got another lap or 2 laps to have another go. But I would have a go at him this lap just to see if I can make that work. He is so strong out of Pour Frere, so I would have a go here. Literally have a go, set him up, try and get him round the outside like he nearly done with Hutch. Okay, if it doesn't work, he knows for the next 2 laps that he can't make that work. He's going to have to go early, and he knows that if he can't do it, Edwards is unlikely to be able to do it as well. So for Maxwell, go for it, try it, see what happens.
Let's see Yeah, he is going to. Well, no, he's not quite going to fully take that advice. I think he's trying to feel this one out as best as he can while disguising that he wants to do that. Because I think it is a good idea to give it a go. But if he actually does and he does go through, then will Edwards think, well, I'm not going to overtake you now. I'm going to stay in this second place because I know it will work on the final lap. And we're going to, go to the line like this, or at least go to the final lap like this. He's got to try and do this without fully exposing his strategy to Edwards, I think, as Maxwell. And so far he's done that well. But it means that he hasn't had a full attempt at this. He's just going to leave it all on the line and wait till the very last lap and just go for it then instead. Bit of weaving around from Edwards again, but there's nothing you can do to combat the slipstream at this circuit. Maxwell gets close again. Once again, he would have been close enough, but will he go for it on the final lap at this corner, or is he going to wait for the very final one?
Yeah, Bird and Brown still spread out. Unfortunately for Palmer, he's just got 0 place to go there. Oh, Bird respectfully leaves Brown room. Brown's going to try and squeeze him. Oh, he did. He put Bird up on the curb. Bird's going to jeopardise himself on the run down into they're 3 wide, I think.
Yeah, they are. It's who is
it?
It's
De La Cruz.
Oh, De La Cruz down the inside. Wow, that was a big move towards Bruxelles, but they've worked it out, and Seth Brown gets the lead of the group. Anyway, De La Cruz is into second of the group, and that's 5th place overall, and Jamie Bird slips backwards. What a move that was from De La Cruz. He saw 2 wide in front of him, but he saw an opportunity, and he well and took it as well, as Mike Bousson joins in.
Yeah. 5 cars now. Bousson's having a go. Can Bousson's got to be sitting there thinking, I can take 5 places here. Come on. I've only got 2 laps to go. Let me through or do something. Bousson's probably sitting in that car having a right old fit about now. Maxwell's on the run down again into Blanchimont. I want to see if he just tries it. And I know he's probably not going to here. I think he's going to save it for the final lap. But I think it's a brave boy to save it for the final lap as well. I think he's got to be... No, he didn't give it a go. He didn't give it a go. Bousson's giving it a go over Palmer, though, Ewan, and is trying to make that move on the inside of Blanchimont.
Oh, side by side through here is Brave, and they're both off the road. Bousson gets through. Palmer backed out of it in the end, and so that's 7th place for Bousson. Inside line for Seth Brown as he tries to hang on to this 4th place. There was even maybe a bit of contact between De La Cruz and Bird there as they almost run side by side over the line. Bousson will close in towards turn 1 as a result. Bird breaks late and goes down the inside, although it's half-hearted. And Mike Bousson will get the exit as a result, and maybe even side by side towards Eau Rouge. He will decide to stay behind, but all hell is going to break loose in towards Lecombe here. Not only in this group, but at the front as well. Maxwell's going to go for it, is he? He's on the outside line on the very last lap here. He won't wait to the final corner. He just sends those warning shots, but can't get through for now. It will come down to the end. What on earth's going to happen here, though? But Bousson wants 4 places in a lap. He's looking every which way, but there's a roadblock in front of him. Brown and De La Cruz go side by side. Seth Brown hangs on to 4th. Mike Bousson wants 5th. He can't get it through Lecombe.
No, he didn't quite get the run that I was hoping for, and he was hoping for, but the problem was there was a massive roadblock when he did get the run, and there was De La Cruz, Brown and Palmer all across the circuit, so he had nowhere to go. He just couldn't get through. It wasn't the fact that he wasn't, and he couldn't, and the draft was pulling him through. He just physically couldn't go anywhere. They were just spread out on track, and unfortunately they were just left there. Bousson was just like, wow. He's like being in a parking lot in a traffic jam. There was just nothing he could do about it there at all. The leaders are coming out of Paul Ferret now. This is going to be final time for Maxwell to have a go. And then we'll try and pick back up on that battle as soon as possible. But this is it. This is the final throw of the dice for Luke Maxwell.
Already, he's very much close enough as well. He's had a fantastic final lap here as Maxwell. He's closing in as a result with the slipstream through Blanchimont. He tried it last lap, hit for 2nd place, and it didn't work out. What about when the race wins on the line? Maxwell breaks as late as he dares, and Edwards does as well. Maxwell's wide for the 2nd time. Edwards round the outside of the final turn, and he's got the exit. Simon Edwards will go back-to-back at Spa, and he'll win race 2 as well. Luke Maxwell and John McCutcheon will join him on the podium as Seth Brown hangs on to 4th. It's way too late from De La Cruz, who loses 2 places in the final chicane. Bousson gets into the top 5. He just runs out of time to get Seth Brown at the end. But what a battle that was for 4th place. as De La Cruz threw it away almost. A couple of positions lost because he locked up into the final chicane.
Yeah, he just went in too deep and he unfortunately ran through the bus stop and literally just could not make it there. Graham Brown couldn't get Phil Glover either. But that was some amazing ends to the race there as well. Maxwell almost, dude, he literally almost, watch. He almost got him. It was incredible. He tries to go to the outside. He goes in a little bit more as well. Then they were leaning on each other here, and it just couldn't get that gap. Edwards squeezed him like an orange. He gave him the room, but didn't give him enough room to get the exit, and Maxwell just couldn't quite do it. It was literally an incredible drive from them two. Maxwell almost tried it round the outside twice. Couldn't quite make it work, but the results are on your screen, young sir.
Let's have a look. Simon Edwards winning a second race and has already taken 3 out of the 4 so far this season. Luke Maxwell just behind him. John McCutcheon was quite lonely towards the end there, but he's on the podium again. Seth Brown 4th, ahead of Mike Bousson, Jamie Bird, Sergio De La Cruz and Wayne Palmer as well in that fantastic battle. We saw Paul Godden and Michael LeMay just about stayed inside the top 10. Jamie G just missed out with David Rolliston. Robert Woodward was about half a minute back, and then it was the battle between Phil Glover and Graham Brown for 14th place. Just behind them was Colin Wynn, Chris Max Davies and Phil Johnson, with a couple of others down towards the back of Darryl Taylor and James Child. Well, what a fantastic race that was. Let's bring in a couple of the drivers, starting with, we're going to go a little bit of a bizarre order today, but Paul Godden's already waiting for us, so we'll bring him in. Paul, welcome in. Good to have you here. 9th place in the second race there, but started up towards the front because of the reverse grid. How was that race for you?
Yeah, evening, guys. Yeah, it was really good evening, actually. One of the best evenings I've had in the Radicals. The racing was really good throughout the field, nice and clean, nice and close. And yeah, and I managed to get the reverse grid in race 1, which I didn't know I got until I crossed the line and Wayne went, I think you're on pole. And I didn't realise I was battling with Darryl for it, but unfortunately he made a mistake into the last corner, which allowed me to get it. But yeah, fair play to Darryl for keeping us on our toes in that race.
Absolutely. We saw a lot of drafting around here at Spa, I think it's fair to say. And I'm not sure what's... maybe we're right. I can see a lot of rustling from Paul at the minute. I hope he's...
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh, it's all right. Okay, sorry. I thought the mic could just fall off your head or something. I don't know. Anyway, there was a lot of draft going on at Spa today. We feared that it would be a bit of a follow the leader type thing because of that. But how was the racing overall? It seemed actually a lot more dynamic than we thought it might be.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be a bit of a draft train, and everyone went. But with the setup, I was really struggling in practice with it. And thanks to my teammate Wayne, he managed to give me his setup with about 20 minutes to go, which is completely different to what I would normally run. But it was a really low downfall setup, and it gave us just enough extra speed up the hill to get the places that I needed to do or to be in the place to defend for the rest of the lap. So but yeah, the racing was really close actually. I thought it was going to be a little bit messy because of how the draft can work in this car, but overall it was a great evening.
Absolutely. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Paul, before we let you go?
Yeah, obviously I'd like to shout out to all the drivers for making this series a great series. Obviously yourself and James for doing a great job on the broadcast, and it's always really good to watch back. And lastly to again my teammate Wayne Palmer, because without him tonight I would have been poodling around at the back of the field. So no, cheers for him for giving us a setup that was I managed to click with straight away. So no, it's a great evening.
Absolutely. Paul, congratulations on a couple of top 10s, and thanks for chatting to us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks very much. Paul Godden there with a couple of top 10s this evening at Spa. Everyone, of course, was behind Simon Edwards, who joins us now. Simon, welcome in. Good to have you here. Double race win for you here this evening. Has that surprised you by any at all, or were you confident today?
I didn't know that was going to happen. I've only had 2 practice sessions, and I was still on basically the setup I had for Road America. I just made a slight damping change to the rear, and that was it. So a surprise that I had much more pace than everybody, it seems.
Well, I know you were very quick today, but are you any more comfortable with the car? You weren't exactly complimentary of it last week.
I'm still struggling with feeling it, but I managed to get rid of my problem that was annoying me last week, which was every time I changed down into sort of second or third and in low revs, I was locking the rears. So I've seemed to have cured that just with some damping work. So a bit happier that I wasn't feeling crippled.
Yeah, and next week we've got, in the official iRacing schedule, we've got the Nordschleife again, but what do you think we'll see next week? What would you like to see in terms of track selection? What do you think we'll get?
I told them to do Knockhill. What do you reckon?
I think John said that as well, actually. So it might happen, you never know. I mean, I said earlier on the broadcast, Simon, that Nordschleife seems unlikely. Would you agree with that? It seems unlikely we'll be going there next week.
Well, I like it. So if everybody else says, "Oh, we're doing the Nordschleife," it won't really annoy me because I'm pretty quick and I know at pretty much every corner now after doing it for 10 years. So it won't annoy me as long as we know early enough.
Yes.
Tsukuba GP, Simon. What do you reckon?
I'm retiring from this league.
Told you, Tsukuba's terrible.
I know.
I don't want to watch a race around
I
there.
love it, but clearly I'm the only one. So don't let me pick it.
Mon's a short one. Remember that teeny little thing?
Yeah, I did that in the Clios, mate. That's an awesome track.
Never mind. Monza short. Monza combined with the banking. That'll be not
in this car. The top end's gone in it, so we'll just be all in one pile, 8 wide. So
that's what I want to see, really. But maybe that wouldn't be so enjoyable. We'll see what happens next week, though. Simon, is there anyone you'd like to shout out before we let you go?
I'll shout out to the setup creators of iRacing. I dissed them last race,
Yeah, they're getting. They got a sarcastic one last week, and a little bit more of a real sounding one this time. So they'll take that, I think. Simon, congratulations on a double win here this evening, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks very much. Simon Edwards there, double race winner here at Spa. In the second race, he was just ahead of Luke Maxwell, who joins us now. Luke, welcome in as well. Second place at the end there. You couldn't quite get past Simon Edwards, but you've had quite an eventful time of things on the last lap into the Foreign Chicane here this evening. Just tell us about those last laps of those couple of races.
Yeah. In the first race, it was obviously, Simon had pulled a good gap, and between John, Mike and I, it was all, positioning really to try and see where we'd get in the last lap, and John managed to get through, double toe, I suppose. But that was cracking. I hate that last corner. I really do. I always struggle, especially if I'm trying to go on the inside and get the power down. It's very easy to spin there, so I'm probably overcautious. I always seem to lose a tenth or two there.
Going off the back of race one, though, where you tried to go for second place and, of course, dropped to fourth at the end there. Did you not think, was it not in your mind to maybe change strategy when you were behind Simon there? You knew it was going to be you two to the line. Was it always, I'll go for this at the final chicane and the final lap? Or were you thinking about Le Com? Were you thinking about other sections of the track to try and go for it? Or did you know that?
Yeah, I think the pace difference, it was a good best part of 10K. On the straights, the difference. So, without his toe, I would have been nowhere. So I thought there's only going to be one chance. I'll try and. I could see he was pushing the tyres. He obviously had that little slide. I probably could have nipped past him then, but I thought he's still got the pace. Let's stick with him and put him under pressure, and maybe he'll rack up some incident points or burn the tyres up. It was a case of just trying to hang on. But I knew really as far as overtaking, was going to have to be on that last bit. Really, I'd try and make a better use than I did before. But I think we bashed doors a bit. I just couldn't get the power down, on that at that last chicane. But great fun. I'm really happy with that. It's been a few weeks missed for me. So well pleased.
Yeah, welcome back. By the way, it's been a while, hasn't it? Actually, I did bypass entirely the fact that you weren't here last week either. So your first appearance this season, and hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more of you as well. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Luke, before we let you go?
No, just you guys really keep up the good commentary. Hadn't really thought about shout outs, to be honest. Yeah, I'm missing next week, so I'll be back in 2 weeks. But then I should make the rest of the season.
Okay, that's good news. Good news indeed. Luke, congratulations on a nice couple of results this evening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Yes, guys. All the best.
Take care.
Thanks very much. Luke Maxwell there, 2nd and 4th in the 2 races today. John McCutchinson was on the podium twice, and he joins us now. John, welcome in. Good to have you back. Bit of a lonely race 2 for you, so we'll go back to race 1 a little bit and talk a little bit about that battle between you and Luke and Mike as well at the end. Well, all throughout the race, in fact. It was fantastic to watch, but how was your thought process kind of developing throughout? As Luke mentioned, there was a lot of jockeying for position going on to the final lap. And, you at one point you made the 3 wide move through the middle. Mike did the same and you got back to the front again. It was all going on. What was it like from your perspective?
Yeah, race 1 was a fun race. The 3 of us having a bit of a ding-dong. But I knew I didn't have the pace. So coming up to the last couple of laps, I said I'll just stay in third and try and double draft them up the straight and hold them off in the last lap, and thankfully that's what I managed to do. But he made a late effort going into the bus stop chicane, so I just get the drive coming out the final corner and get P2. Take that.
Absolutely. And P3 in the second race as well. Double podium for you here this evening, which is good all in all. I want to talk a little bit about next week though, because there's been a lot of suggestions flying through about what circuits have been in. I know you've been putting your opinions in the chat as well, the main chat in the Discord. So what do you think we'll see next week in terms of circuit? Are we going to stick to schedule with the Nordschleife? Are we going to return to Le Mans as the Nordschleife replacement like we had last season? What do you think we're going to get?
Well, I suggested Not Kill. We've never driven it Not Kill, but I don't know if everyone will have the track yet or not. I don't know. But Not Kill would be fun in this little car. A little tight, twisty track. A bit of chaos, I think, would ensue. Definitely.
Would the bumps not completely destroy this car?
The chicane, the S's would be fun, that's for sure. You get a bit of airborne. Well, if you damage it, you damage it.
Yeah, it
doesn't cost you anything.
No, it's absolutely fine. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, John, before we let you go?
A shout out to all the guys for a clean racing tonight, and Seth Brown for giving me a bit of a Code Brown moment.
I don't remember that at all.
No, I must have missed that one. Where was that?
Yeah,
Get up the Camel Straight. He went defensive on the inside, which was fair enough, but he left a gap. So I went in the gap and he come in again, and nearly wiped me out.
Okay, I'm guessing it was on lap 1, and so there was so much going on. I can't remember, to be honest. So there we are. But either way, everyone survived, and that's the important thing. John, congratulations on a couple of podiums tonight, and thanks for chatting to us again.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks very much. John McCutchinson there, 2nd and 3rd in the 2 races today. And finally, let's bring in Phil Glover to have a bit of a chat as well. Phil, welcome in. Good to have you with us. You involved in a lot of great battling towards the back end and the midfield here today. It was great racing up and down the field. You were involved within some of it. How was your evening?
Yeah, it was a bit of a challenge tonight, I think. Race 1 didn't. Race 1 was okay for a little while, and then somebody spun in front of me and I hit them. And the new damage model takes all the speed out of your vehicle now, doesn't it? It drives okay, but it just doesn't go very fast. So it took up the sort of profile of a Massey Ferguson, I think. It was very slow. Second race, yeah, kept the powder clean, I guess. But it wasn't great.
Well, it's another race chalked off for the well, I'll say another one. It's only the second one of the season. We've had a lot of chat about what's going to come up next week. Phil, what would you like to see? What do you think we're going to see next week as the Nordschleife is on the official schedule? What do you think we're going to be doing in the Radical Race Series next week?
Well, I never mind the Nordschleife, but I don't mind. There's been talk about Knockhill. If we go to Knockhill, I'll have to buy that one. I don't think I've got Knockhill, but so I guess that would be interesting to try a new track. I think they've also talked about Le Mans. Le Mans I quite like. I did okay last time we went out to Le Mans, so Not too bothered wherever we end up, really. As long as I'm able to compete, that's the main thing.
It feels like we were at Le Mans only yesterday, if I'm honest
It
with you.
does.
It was only 3 weeks as of today, and it will be 4 next week if we go there again. So yeah, it'll be a very quick turnaround. But anyway, apparently we haven't been to Knockhill before, so maybe it'll be a new one onto the list. I'm sure there are many circuits actually we've never done before or don't do so regularly that maybe we'll have on the agenda next week. We'll find out in due course, though. I'm sure.
Is Knockhill the track that they do rallycross on as well? Quite hilly.
Yes, there is a rallycross track at Knockhill. It has a very tight midsection over the dirt. If you're a rallycross fan, or maybe listen to this, it's very tight and can cause a few pile-ups. But maybe going there would be interesting.
Well, yeah, maybe we should do the rallycross circuit. How about that?
Maybe we should. Maybe we'll not do that. We'll.
I probably will.
We'll see when we get to it next week. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Phil, before we let you go?
Well, everybody that makes these events happen, that includes yourself and all the admin and all the drivers, and of course to the people that watch and get some enjoyment out of that as well. So yeah, look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Paul LeMay and Paul Crabb were both watching on and enjoying the racing this evening, among others. So yeah, it was good racing to watch indeed. Phil, thanks very much for chatting to us again, and we'll see you next week.
You're very welcome. Take care, guys. Bye.
Thanks very much, Phil Glover there chatting to us after the second race here at Spa, or second round indeed. The Radical Race Series is in full swing for Season 3 of 2023, and that was fantastic racing at Spa. Some good drama right to the very end of both races in the end.
Yeah, it definitely was. And I told you, like, do you know the thing with this, right, is we've seen series that can have 30 cars on track and they can all be spread out and it can be incredibly boring. But even with 20 radicals, these guys can make it exceptionally exciting. And I love this. Every Thursday, it's amazing to watch.
It absolutely is, and you can watch them all again next week. We don't know what circuit we're going to be going to, but it will be enjoyable wherever we are. It's Nordschleife on the official schedule. Whether that changes or not in the coming 7 days remains to be seen. Make sure you subscribe to the JPB YouTube channel so that you don't miss that, and so that you don't miss all of the other racing that goes on here across every evening of the week. That's it from us this evening, though. I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside James Parfitt, and until we see you in 1 week's time on the Radical Race Series, it's goodbye for now.